You don't have to keep going around and around in this cycle. You don't. It ends when you say it does.
All right, fam, keep it tuned to Damage Control on 95.9 WOVU Cleveland.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back.
Yeah, man, how you doing?
Come on,
you
come
good?
on,
I know
come
you
on.
like
Yeah,
that.
good, I'm doing good.
I know you like that.
How long you been back, man? Welcome.
Yeah, I thought I would hit you guys with a little bit of mace this afternoon. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back to another episode of Damage Control with your favorite marriage and family therapist and host, Aquila Wheatley. So good to be back with you guys. And just remember, Monday is a fresh start. So start it with determination and focus. Or in other words,
be great in their face and have a good day on purpose. You're welcome.
Althea Cremens for you. You know I love her. If she can't motivate you, okay, nobody can. All right, because she is one of the most amazing motivational speakers. So shout out to Althea from Damage Control. You know we love you, girl. With that being said, it is time for us to roll into our first segment, which is Relationship RX. And for those of you new listeners that might not know what Relationship RX is,
You gonna learn today?
you sure are going to learn today. It is a segment where we take relationship questions, conflicts, concerns, and we read them. So if you're interested in being a part of this segment, definitely feel free to hit me up on Facebook at Supportive Advice Ohio. So this first question is both interesting but also not uncommon. This woman says, my husband has never held down a steady job. I, on the other hand, have had long-term steady jobs and Social Security at one point because I have a chronic illness. She doesn't talk about what the illness is, but she does say, I have had over 10 surgeries. And during that time, I still held down a job to make money for myself and my family. My husband makes excuses when he has to go to work. And while he's getting ready, he slams things around and complains about everything and everyone at work before ultimately quitting. I'm just at a loss and I feel like it's a repeating cycle that will never end. What can I do? So a lot of my ladies and gentlemen might both be saying, why haven't you left yet? Or well, just leave because ultimately that is the answer for everything. Just leave. However, it's not. So I want to examine this situation. She says never held down a steady job, right? She also prefaces that with my husband. However, it's hard for me to imagine that this pattern started after they were married. It may have been that he never held down a steady job the whole time he knew her. And then after they were married, she assumed that he would change. There was an expectation, I'm not sure if it was spoken or unspoken, but there was an expectation that he would change at some point. So she talks about having long term success with holding down a job. She also talks about having a chronic illness and having had 10 surgeries. And that's significant here. And the reason why it's significant is because her husband did not step up during those times. Now, some people might say, well, Dag, he must be selfish, right? He could be. Some people would say, oh, he must be a narcissist. He could be. However, he also could be someone that didn't step up because he wasn't trusted to. And what that means is sometimes we get so used to doing something, right? We get so used to a routine that the control that we have by doing things begins to serve us. It reduces anxiety if I don't have to count on him to do something that I don't believe he can do anyway. If I'm the one that's holding down a job, yes, I'm stressed. Yes, I'm angry. Yes, I might even be resentful. However, I'm also lowering my anxiety by taking control. In order for him to have stepped up during this time, she would have had to quit working. So a boundary would have had to be set. Hey, I'm going in to have some surgeries. I have the Social Security coming in. It's not going to be enough to maintain the entire home and family. So you're going to have to get a job, and I'm going to be quitting my job as of this date. And so two things could have happened at that point. The first thing is he decided that he was going to call her bluff, and he didn't actually end up getting a job. And so financially, the family suffers, right? But she's also on Social Security. So the family suffers. However, they're not destitute. Another thing that could have happened is that he felt the pressure of needing to be that provider and actually stepped up to that role. Now, does that mean that he would have been nice about it? Maybe not. Does it mean that his temperament would have been absolutely amazing while he was doing it? Probably not, right? If he's already slamming things and getting upset and complaining about everything, and he has a very negative point of view as it relates to work, that's probably going to be consistent, especially if he hasn't done it for long periods of time. However, people do eventually get into a routine. And it sounds like he hasn't been at a job long enough to actually form a routine, form bonds with people, form friendships with individuals, and actually have a stake in his employment and the people around him, right? It sounds like he goes there begrudging, not interested in making friends, not interested in having any type of interactions. And then he complains about everyone. That is a confirmation bias. This is going to be horrible. So I'm only going to pay attention to things that I believe are horrible that confirm my bias. And I'm going to discard everything that is not horrible, or I'm going to minimize everything that is not horrible because it doesn't align with the bias I already have. There's also some resentment that I hear, and not just from you, but from him. For some reason, and I'm not sure, it seems like he doesn't think that it is within his role, or at least justified within his role, to have to be the one to work. Here is a way to stop repeating a cycle. You get off the merry-go-round. You get off. And this isn't saying you have to end your marriage. This isn't saying you have to leave him. This is saying that you set a boundary. And in setting a boundary, you also set a known and concrete expectation. Now, some people think that a boundary is there to control the other person. People think, oh, well, ultimatums are there to push them to do what I want them to do versus what they want to do because something's at stake. However, a boundary is really just asserting control over yourself and your willingness to take or not take something, do or not do something. You can say to your husband, hey, we've been married since 2009. That's a good 15 years. You haven't held down a steady job. I've had 10 surgeries. If this marriage is going to continue, there's going to need to be significant reprioritization. Now, you don't have to do anything that you don't want to do. However, neither do I. And if the family's well being doesn't move up on your priority list, which would look like possibly you starting a business or maintaining employment or going back to school or whatever is going to help you become the provider that I need you to be, I am going to take steps to, and then fill in the blank. And some people might say, well, that's duress. No, because essentially he doesn't have to do anything. He can continue doing exactly what he's been doing. You're not telling him that if he doesn't do something, you're going to do something to him. No. You are telling him that if something doesn't change within this cycle, you're going to do something to get off the merry-go-round. That's what you're telling him. Also, couples counseling, getting down to the root of why he's not working, and why you have been okay for so long with taking on this role. Now, again, as I said before, it could be a way of lowering your anxiety by asserting control. If I haven't seen someone do something, then I don't feel comfortable trusting them to do it. And I'm saying it very plainly because it makes sense. If I've never seen a plane float, I might not trust a plane to float, because essentially, if I've not seen it and I've not witnessed it and it's not been normalized to me, I am not going to risk it. However, you can, as I said before, set a boundary. You don't have to keep going around and around in this cycle. You don't. It ends when you say it does.